Welcome back to Book Summary in Minutes, the channel where we turn best-selling books into powerful takeaways you can absorb in under 10 minutes. If you've ever wondered whether you need to pick one path early to succeed, or if jumping between interests is actually holding you back, you're about to hear something that might just change your thinking. Today's featured book is the eye-opening bestseller, Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World by David Epstein. In a world that celebrates laser focus and early mastery, Epstein makes a bold claim. Being a generalist, someone with wide interests and varied experiences, may actually be your biggest advantage. Stick with us as we break down this mind-shifting book into a clear, practical, and inspiring audio summary. You'll learn why slow starters often end up ahead, how sampling different paths can lead to deeper success, and why range might just be the new superpower in today's fast-changing world. If you enjoy summaries like this, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share, because one book could change everything. Now, let's jump into Range by David Epstein. Intro: Why being a jack of all trades is your secret weapon. Hey there, and welcome. Today we're diving into a powerful idea that flips conventional wisdom on its head. You've probably heard the phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. Well, David Epstein's book, Range, says not so fast. In a world obsessed with early specialization, where kids are pushed to pick a path young and stick with it, Epstein argues that generalists, people who try lots of things, switch paths, and bring broad experience, actually have the edge in life and work. Let's break it down and explore why range just might be your greatest asset. Section 1. The Tiger versus the Roger Path. Let's start with two famous names, Tiger Woods and Roger Federer. Tiger started golf before he could talk. He was swinging clubs at 2, and by the time he was a teenager, he was already a phenom. That's what most people think success looks like. Find your passion early, laser focus, and grind. But then there's Federer. He dabbled in all kinds of sports as a kid. Soccer, badminton, basketball, you name it. He didn't specialize in tennis until much later, and yet he became one of the greatest players of all time. Epstein calls these two examples the Tiger Path and the Roger Path, and the book shows that for most people, especially in complex, unpredictable fields, the Roger Path wins. Section 2. Kind versus wicked learning environments. Now, here's a key concept. Not all learning environments are created equal. Some are kind, like chess or golf, where the rules are clear, feedback is immediate, and repetition works. That's where specialists can shine. But most of life isn't like that. It's wicked. Think business, art, technology, relationships, where the rules are fuzzy, outcomes are delayed, and you face problems you've never seen before. In wicked environments, generalists thrive. Why? Because they're better at adapting, connecting ideas from different fields, and thinking creatively when there's no playbook. In wicked environments, generalists thrive. What would you do if you were in the same situation? Section 3. The Power of Sampling. Here's something reassuring. Trying a bunch of things before you commit isn't a weakness, it's a strength. Epstein calls this sampling. Just like Federer played a buffet of sports before landing on tennis, many successful people go through a period of exploration before they specialize. In fact, some of the world's best performers, scientists, inventors, entrepreneurs, didn't find their calling until much later in life. They sampled, wandered, and made what looked like detours. But those detours often turned into hidden training that gave them a unique edge. So, if you've changed majors, switched careers, or taken the scenic route, congratulations, you're building a range. Section 4. Thinking outside the specialist's box. One of the coolest ideas in range is how generalists make connections that specialists miss. Think of it like this. Specialists dig deep, like drilling one very deep well. Generalists dig in lots of places and start connecting the dots. That's where innovation often comes from, not from knowing one thing really well, but from linking ideas across disciplines. There's a story in the book about NASA engineers trying to solve a stubborn problem. When they opened it up to people outside the aerospace world, a guy from the oil drilling industry cracked it. Why? Because he looked at the problem from a totally different angle. That's the magic of range. It gives you mental tools from all over the place, and that's how you solve new, weird problems. Section 5. Slow learners, fast thinkers. Here's a surprising twist. People who take longer to learn something often end up understanding it more deeply. Epstein talks about research showing that struggling a bit while learning, taking longer to grasp things, actually leads to better long-term results. It's called desirable difficulty. So while specialists might zoom ahead early, generalists build stronger mental models. They're more likely to transfer their knowledge, adapt to new situations, and solve unfamiliar problems. In short, fast learners may win the sprint, but slow learners often win the marathon. Section 6. Match quality over match early. Let's talk about something called match quality, basically how well a person's job or role fits their skills and passions. In a rush to specialize, a lot of people end up in careers that don't really fit. But generalists, because they try more things, are more likely to find roles that truly align with who they are. It's like dating. You probably wouldn't marry the first person you ever meet, so why lock into a career at 18? Exploring gives you feedback about what energizes you and what doesn't. Epstein says, don't just match early, match well. Section 7. The myth of the 10,000-hour rule. You've heard the rule, 10,000 hours of practice makes you an expert, but range calls this out as an oversimplification. The rule came from studies of violinists, but in a very kind domain. In most fields, especially creative or chaotic ones, it's not just about reps, it's about thinking, questioning, exploring, and cross-pollinating ideas. Epstein isn't saying practice doesn't matter. It does. But in real life, being curious, flexible, and open-minded can be just as important as putting in the hours. Wrap up. Range is the new superpower. So what's the big takeaway? In a world that tells you to specialize early, stay in your lane, and double down on one thing, range makes the case for the opposite. Try more things, explore more paths, learn broadly, connect ideas, struggle a little, change directions. That's not failure, it's how generalists grow. The most successful, adaptable people aren't always the ones who knew exactly what they wanted at age 5. They're the ones who explored, wandered, and learned how to think in range. So, whether you're starting out, starting over, or just trying to find your way, remember, it's okay not to have it all figured out. Sometimes the scenic route is actually the fastest path to where you belong. Thanks for listening. Stay curious, stay flexible, and keep exploring your range.